everybody. Happy holidays and welcome to the Witches Movie Coven. Indeed, grab your goat, grab your wine, grab a beverage of choice. That took me a minute. Grab your dragon, because I think we're going to need some dragon magic tonight, because we are talking about a movie called The Killing Tree. I am Patti Negri. I am one of your hosts. You might know me from my The Witching Hour, my regular podcast, or Ghost Adventures, or from Ghost Finders. I'm going to let everybody introduce themselves since I'm not speaking English quite yet. Richard-Lael, pass it on.
Hello, this is Richard-Lael. Richard-Lael is one name, not two. If I were just Richard, I'd be, the rest of it. I am known as the Gentleman Psychic. I am here in New Orleans. So, come and find me. Come and get readings. Come and do a seance. Come and sing Xmas carols outside of my door, and I will not be your friend. Anyway, other than that, how about Heather?
Oh, hi. Yes, I am Heather Greene. I am the author of Lights, Camera, Witchcraft. This is a book about witches in film, which is what we talk about here. I am also an acquisitions editor at Llewellyn Worldwide and a journalist that covers the occult and tarot and witchcraft in mainstream media. So on to you, Jason.
I'm Jason Mankey. I'm one of those many Llewellyn authors, having written 9 Llewellyn books, including the Little Book of Yule. This is my favorite time of year. I'm also in the middle of plumbers at my house, so if you hear strange banging, I'm not being held hostage. I'm just possibly getting hot water again. This is very exciting.
And Courtney.
That's me. I'm Courtney Buckley. You might know me from Scared and Alone, where I am ghost bait. Also from, haunting the streets of Salem. That's it. Or from this here World Wide Web, because I'm on here doing all kinds of things. So that's that. I can't wait to talk about what we have to talk about today.
Yes. I hope everybody has their Christmas tree up. I actually don't have my Yule tree up yet, but I want to also thank everybody who's in the chat room. Nathan and Mary Jane and Shrouded Grove and Katie and all you guys. We love that you guys are commenting. So keep commenting. We are watching. We are listening. We're going to post some of them. So we are here. I want to shout out to one of our regulars who's not here. Robert Hicks is not here tonight because he left us for Cindy Kaza, but that's okay. I might leave us for Cindy Kaza once in a while. He's seeing her live. But other than that, The Killing Tree left me speechless, but tonight we will talk. I guess jump right in, but I think we need an unbiased explanation of this movie from Richard-Lael.
I think you do need an unbiased one, so I am here to provide that. So how do I begin? I actually will begin by telling you a story from last night in my dreams, and then why it links to this. So in my dreams, I was watching some horrible slasher film, and they were passing out a flyer, and they said something that pinged in my ear, and I went, wait, there's something. And then I looked in, and they had my last name on one of the flyers. So I zoomed in on the screen really big, and sure enough, it was my name, but I could see that there was writing on the back. And I couldn't quite figure out what the writing said, but I zoomed in even more, and I could see that it was reversed because it was in the reflection in the window behind it. And it was something about the Rocky Horror Picture Show. And I woke up wondering, what was this about? And then I realized, oh, right, we're doing The Killing Tree. So here is my unbiased story about it. And why Rocky Horror comes into play is because there's a light over at the Frankenstein place. That is what I want to say to start with. The castle where the woman is summoning her deceased serial killer lover from the grave is the castle from Rocky Horror Picture Show. Just so I can say that. Jason, amazing, right?
Right.
So it is it starts off with this woman who is furiously pouring salt and other condiments onto the floor. Apparently, she was out of ketchup or mustard for dramatic effect. Anyway, she was pouring this salt on the floor around a fake Christmas tree. And the bad part about being a fake Christmas tree is I can't even joke about mourning wood because there is no wood. Anyway, so she summons the spirit of her serial killer boyfriend back to life. And of course, he comes back in the form of the Christmas tree, a fake Christmas tree. And he says, "Why? What have you done to me?" And she says, "Well, I thought it was going to work. I thought there was more. Oh, yeah, by the way, flash to the fact that they did a hexagon or the Star of David, and then flash to a cross, and then flash to the Star of David, and then flash to another cross, and then flash again to the salt Star of David." And so the Christmas tree, who is now her boyfriend, kills the woman.
I'm sorry, we need that on a shirt. The Christmas tree, who is now her boyfriend.
The Christmas tree is now her boyfriend, kills her, and then, oh, actually, I like having all of these extra limbs. And so he goes on this rampage to go kill this woman because he was apparently a serial killer. And this girl was the survivor girl in the previous film that thankfully never happened. Although it probably would have been a better film. It would have been a better film because he was an actual person who was actually killing people. Anyway, so this woman ends up by sending him to be murdered in prison by dropping soap or something. I don't remember that part. I wasn't paying too close of attention. But now he's a tree. Now he is making like a tree and getting out of here. And he and so he goes on this killing rampage, and he realizes that he likes to have all of his things, and he wanders in the woods and he gets lost because trees do. And then he gets to this house, which is not the Rocky Horror Mansion, but he gets to the house, and of course there's all of the girls. All of these, why are there all these girls at this big old castle? Why? I don't know. There's all of these girls. And they're talking about where he had killed the parents in that room, and then she's dressed like, I don't remember, like a champagne bottle. I was half drunk. I don't drink, but I was drunk. Anyway, she was dressed like something, and then the tree comes through the woods, and someone pulls up and says, "Oh, look, someone must have dropped your tree off." And then they're trying to find where this Christmas tree comes from. And they get to the house, and the tree is killing people right and left. And the tree decides that it's going to shut all of the power off to the house, excepting the fact that the lamps and the Christmas lights still work. So he only actually just turned off the light switch. And then, because they're British, the one says, "Love, I'm going to go out the garden and go at the back. I'm going to go at the back." And the other one says, "No, don't do that. You know there's a killer up there. No, I'm going to go." So they end up, of course, being dead because they're not the survivor girl. And then I think I turned it off at this point or fell asleep because I don't remember how it ended, but I think that's pretty close to the ending.
Oh my goodness, you don't remember
the flashbacks. So yeah, the flashback scenes. Young Ozzy Osbourne and old Stevie Nicks kill people, and then that was what was the ending? I don't remember.
The angel Christmas tree, the lightsaber battle between the flying
parents. Her parents come down. That's right. So they're in the woods. He's trying to kill the survivor girl. But then the angel tree comes down, and it's actually the girl's parents. "Oh, we know who you are. No, we're not your wife. No, that's not who we are. No, we're her parents, and you're evil." The end. It was classic.
It's speechless.
My chest hurts. My chest hurts from coughing and laughing. That was so unbiased, and I appreciate. This is a movie that's tough to keep your opinion out of when recanting the tale like that, and I do appreciate how I have no idea what you're going to say later as far as your opinion goes. Zero.
You have no idea.
No. Mm-mm.
None.
It was I watched it on my bigger screen where all these beautiful movies I watch on my little phone. It's like, oh no, this Killing Tree, this should be good. Horror, I love horror. Comedy, I love comedy. I never found the horror and I never found the comedy, but I watched it on the bigger screen and I'm like, this has to be like a bad acting school, college, high school production of something that they flunked out on is all I kept thinking this entire movie. I was like, that's the worst Christmas Tree I've ever seen. And I think that's supposed to be funny. I think maybe in the map, maybe that's supposed to be funny, but it's not funny. And it's like, maybe that's supposed to be scary, but it's not scary. And then the tree would have these tendrils, like 40-foot long snakes. Well, that have nothing to do with a Christmas tree.
1990s CGI.
CGI. Yeah, but I mean, I understand when they send the string of lights out to kill people, you can do that. A Christmas tree could kill you with a string of lights. But when it turned into like this octopus thing, Christmas trees don't have that. So it was very, very, very confusing. And I cursed whoever made us watch this movie.
Patty, that's my job.
But he's Jason, and
He's not here.
reviewing.
And again, I just kept going, this has to be a joke. This has to be somebody dared somebody to make this movie, the worst movie you could ever make. And it must have been a challenge, and they must have won the challenge of making the worst movie. Because I mean, I've really seen like 8-year-olds make better movies.
Have you ever
Make
Have you
better
ever seen-
movies than that? And I'm like, it's but it wasn't scary and it wasn't funny and there wasn't tension and they can't act and
have you ever seen the movie Velocipaster?
no.
I now
Really?
gotta see that. I gotta see
This
that
is-
now.
Are you kidding? You haven't seen it?
Velocipaster.
I don't listen.
Yeah,
I don't know if it would count as a witch movie. I feel like we could call it magic adjacent if you ever wanted to do it, but it's literally the worst movie I've ever seen in my life. I've watched it so many times and they're coming out with a second one and I cannot breathe. I'm so excited for that. But as far as I think Velocipaster is worse than this.
Wow.
I know.
I can't. I just love what Tabitha just said. The whole budget was spent on the tree. Then their budget must have been about $47.
Mhm.
Well, I don't know. Heather, you just got a tree.
Huh?
Heather just got a tree.
Yeah. So well, I'm gonna talk a little bit about horror in a second. To try to bring a little bit of seriousness to this conversation about
we
the
have to go to
movie.
the actual academic side of things.
Well, I just want to address Richard-Lael's discussion. So I'm watching this film, and in the middle of the day today. What was that?
So you had to choke that word out.
Yeah, I did. I did have to choke that word. So we're watching this film, and I, for the first time in my life, wound up getting a fake Christmas tree. We're actually trying to not call it a fake Christmas tree. We're trying to call it an alternative Christmas tree because I really don't like having that. I really love live trees. This is the first year, so the alternative Christmas tree arrives in its box in the middle of watching this film. Ding dong! Open the door. There's 2 boxes of an alternative Christmas tree. While on the screen, a Christmas tree with giant octopus tentacles is killing people in a house. I said, that's perfect. That was a perfect way to watch this movie. So the boxes are still upstairs. They have not been opened. And don't worry, everybody is still alive. So if anybody's going to ask that question, we're all still fine at this point.
You haven't opened it yet.
No, we have not opened it yet, but there has not been any horror or signs of horror.
But
coming
also,
from the tree
Heather,
yet.
you haven't put the Star of David on the floor, and then a cross on the mantle, and then or ketchup or mayonnaise or whatever it may be, whatever condiments you want to put on the floor. You haven't done that yet.
You do not know that.
That is true. But I am the gentleman psychic. I am the gentleman.
That is true. I do have a menorah next to my Santas, though. So, we do have a household of diversity and an eclectic household at this period of time. So, no, there's no Star David salt on my floor. But yeah. So, I just want to talk a little bit about this movie, and then I will give my opinions a little bit later if I can hold back now, because, yeah. So horror is a very special genre, and it is one that really hits at it really embraces or expresses a lot of our baser fears. That's how it works. It hits them. It's usually something about it is real. That's why they work. And one of the things that's interesting about this movie, if you could actually, I was trying to find an angle at how we can talk about this, how I could talk about the academics. First of all, there's not much history. It's only a year old. The director, he has made 3 films, I believe, that are notable. And they all have taken things that we love and twisted them into something horrific. The other 2 films are about Winnie the Pooh. Winnie the Pooh, after Christopher Robin leaves, decides to go on a killing rampage. And then the other one is, I think, Peter Pan, a Peter Pan one. So he I guess that's his thing, take something that's very well loved and innocent, and then turn it into something horrific. So I think, and that's not uncommon. That is a trope. But this film is interesting if you can find something interesting to talk about, in that I'm almost hoping it's ironic, because the tropes that he plays into are so, the things he plays into with horror are so, they're awful, but they're common in horror. There you have the scene with the couple at the pool, with the killer, and the concept of the killer or the murderous creature, like a slasher film, wanting to kill young girls. And if you're a feminist film theorist, you're going to relate that to sexual activity, to that murderous rage. And there's a lot that we can talk about. And I'm almost thinking it's so crazy that I think it's almost ironic. I don't know if it's purposely, like he purposely tried to make fun of that film and that genre with this. There's a book called Men, Women, and Chainsaws that talks about this. So I'm wondering if the director was trying to kind of parody those slasher films where this male character, this male evil murderer, is trying to murder young, beautiful women. And if that is what's going on, and if this was a parody, I don't know. Although the giant phallic tendrils might point to that, but I don't know. I want to hope he was trying to go for that, but clearly that's what's going on here. It's very much either a parody of or an attempt to make a slasher film from the 80s with the killer male going after the young girls who are isolated. And, here you also have the promiscuity of the girls in their Christian or their conservative mindset, which is why they went after the people in the first place, because they weren't properly celebrating Christmas. So they were attacking people. So you wind up with 2 of the girls are in a relationship. The other girl's a prostitute, happily so. So you wind up with, is there a message there? I don't know. I was pulling at straws, people. I was really working hard for you guys. I could probably write 40 pages on this, with some research relating it. Definitely there's a lot of feminist film theory we can apply to this, but this is not the show for that kind of thing. We just need to talk about the moment when the Christmas tree murderer thing turns around and sees the other Christmas tree and says, "Oh my gosh, Morgan," and thinks it's his wife. I laughed out loud. That was the best moment in the whole movie. And that really was the best moments in the movie, where the killer Christmas tree thinks the real Christmas tree is his wife. Literally screamed out loud, Courtney style. Screamed out loud. So I really don't have a ton to say
Okay. Yeah. But see, we should know if it was supposed to be a parody. I mean, it wasn't a good.
It reminds me a little bit of the plot line of Chucky, but like not. There's also the gingerbread man from I don't remember how long ago, but that was another like serial killer who goes into a Christmas thing and then kills people.
It's a generic horror plot, and, especially for the fabulous slasher genre, where you have this male slasher who goes in and most of them winds up killing young girls. It usually winds up killing, if you look at Halloween or Freddy Krueger,
Nightmare on Elm Street.
He usually winds up killing teenagers who are being promiscuous. You usually wind up killing them when they're in bed, or when they're naked, or when they're speaking about this film falls in line very much with that. And so that's why I was like, is this a parody? Is he trying to
I think you're giving him too much credit, because I don't think this is a smart movie at all. And
no, it's not.
For it to be parody would require some cleverness on the part of the director, who was also one of the writers. And I just don't see that in this film.
Absolutely. I agree with you. I was trying to do exactly what you said. I was trying to come up with something, maybe. I've seen worse films though, Patty. I have.
Was he the writer director? Was it
director and writer?
Director and writer. Did he finance it himself? I don't know how.
His own production company.
Okay.
He's British, and he majored in economics, I think, in college. So.
Okay.
I bet he's making a killing.
Yeah. I mean, in just my little experience of not being that experienced, it went wrong at every turn, every turn.
except when he saw the other Christmas tree. That was the best Christmas tree.
Right. Okay,
yeah, that was so funny.
So I cannot contain it anymore.
Go.
I have to thank Jason for this beautiful Yule gift that was this movie.
You are welcome, Courtney.
This is I will never say you never gave me anything, because you gave me this. When I talk about how much I love movies that are so bad they're good, like this is what I'm talking about. There's a whole subgenre of horror movies that are not really horror movies, they're horror comedy movies, a la like Velocipaster. There's one called The Shark Exorcist, where a shark attacks somebody, they kill the shark, the ghost of the shark comes on land and possesses somebody, and then that person goes around biting people and they have to like exercise the demon. This is what I'm talking about. Whenever I saw, first of all, the Star of David, I was like screaming, what is happening? And then when it shows like from his viewpoint, and there's like things like in his, and then he's like, why is this my voice? I was like, yes, like this is what I wanted for so long. And it just got worse and worse. And that's the beauty of it. Like, there is no point to these movies. There is no thought behind them. It is, how stupid can I be and get away with it and put it on screen? This was like watching a Schmorno without the good parts. Like, that was the level of plot here. But like, it was so good because it was so ridiculously terrible. For example, we're talking about those tendrils, and he grew legs. The Christmas tree grew legs and was running around. But did anyone see when she shoved the Christmas tree and it tipped over and the man's boots were sticking out? So good. It is so good.
Wait, and he grew in size.
Yeah.
Like when he's outside, he was like 3 stories high, and then he's in the house with no problem. I thought when he was killing people, he was getting bigger, but that wasn't the case, because then he was in the house normal size.
Because there are no rules. There are no rules for movies like this. It is just a free-for-all. It was so good. I loved the lights being used to kill people. I also was screaming out loud because when they were by the pool and the lights wrapped around her leg, and then she didn't even notice for like 27 minutes because they were too busy making out. And then she was like, oh, something happened. And she like stood up and the tree was like, ha ha. And then like she fell over. And then the tree threw ornaments at the guy that was there. And then the guy didn't even trip on it. You can see him, like the ornament is here. He kicks the ornament. His foot doesn't leave the ground. He kicks the ornament like tumbles away, and he's like, oh no, I tripped, and he falls on soft grass and is unconscious. Why? It was so good. So I have notes if I can share really quick, because the voice of the tree, and he even said it, he's like, why does my voice sound like this? Best thing that's ever existed. When he's the first thing I wrote down, and it's a quote, and I can't even quote it because it was a bad word, and I will censor it, but he said, what the duck? But he was shaking violently as the tree while he was like, what the duck? While he was the Christmas tree. It was like the best thing I've ever seen. Then for no reason at all, he leaps out the window as the tree, like leaps out the window, and he's like bouncing around on the roof. Are you kidding me? I was like, I've never been so excited in my whole life. Then with the stupid map, like he's like the Blair Witch Project, living his own life. He's like, I can't believe I'm already lost. I can't believe I'm so crap at this. And then he's holding the map up like this because you can't tell where his eyes are, right? So he's like, for no reason. It was so amazing. And then the car came, and then he got excited, and he said, a car. Oh, okay, settle down, Clay. Play it cool. He's a tree. Play it cool, you're a tree. This is so amazing. Oh, and my absolute favorite part, other than the boots sticking out, my absolute favorite part is when there's a 29-hour rendition of Silent Night while everyone is crying and like sitting in the same spot. Like it went on forever. And then it stops. And the door opens, and there's the tree, and he's holding a knife, and he's like, but you can't, obviously he doesn't have a face, but you can tell he's like, ha, like, when he says something, whatever he says, but it, like, the door, like, swings open, he's like, it's the best thing I've ever, I want that picture, like, framed in my house. It was so good. I loved it. I'm filled with glee. This was the best movie because it was so stupid, and I appreciate that so much. So, Jason, thank you, because this has brought me the Christmas spirit.
I'm glad you could find joy in this turd of a movie. It took me 4 sittings to get through this whole thing. That's how bad it was.
And not to steal from Courtney, Jason, but there was a spot where they're getting murdered outside, and I swore that this would be Courtney's quote, but they're getting murdered, and the woman yells, I can't watch this. And I thought, you and me both.
I think that was our Mystery Science Theater 3000 moment in the film, right? She was our audience surrogate.
I forgot something just really quick that I meant to mention. Every time there was blood splatter, like literally they spent 70 cents on the blood splatter because it looked like they took a sheet of plastic and put it on in front of the camera with the same splatter of blood. So it'd be like, rah, rah, and then it would be like, oh, here, hold up the blood sheet because there it is. So good. So good.
I was really sad because I thought the trailer for this when I saw it last winter was terrific because it showed the best parts of this really bad film. But I thought this could be so terrible. It's good. Like, a negative times a negative equals a positive. But the movie barely has the tree in it, really. It's a lot of people talking, wasting time. There are, like, when you talk about how long Silent Night goes, there's the opening of the redheaded girl on the couch, and it just goes on and on and on. The opening where she's conjuring up her dead husband into the Christmas tree, and I cannot believe I've just said that she's conjured up her dead husband into the Christmas tree. Things I never thought would happen in my life for 100, please, Alex. You know, that went on way too long. Like, the whole movie was just padding for, like, the 6 minutes of really good, gruesome tree violence we got, you know? I was sort of disappointed. I thought there was a great idea hidden in this movie, right? Like, could you imagine, like, a killer Christmas tree getting into people's houses, pretending to be their tree? and then murdering them, that would have been great, but that's not what we got.
Yeah, I think this would have worked. The storyline, I agree. I thought about it. I said if they had done more like a Christine, where the tree is just there, and then somebody takes the tree and puts it in another place, and it somehow kills people like quietly, sort of like a Christine, like the car, rather than this thing that walks with tendrils and all, like that, exactly like that. Patty.
90s CGI.
Yeah,
Oh,
I really was trying. I was trying hard, but I have seen worse. But I did say, "What the hell? Excuse me, am I watching right at within the first 5 minutes of the movie?" And we we went from there. I talked to the screen the entire time. I did. We haven't even gotten to the lightsaber battle at the end between the glowing.
No, that's.
I mean, whoever thought they'd be watching a movie where two Christmas trees are fighting each other in the air slow-mo with one glowing
with eyes.
But I'm looking at the acting. What was the character choices on that Christmas tree?
Were there?
I mean, his personality was like, I was just so confused.
You know what I'm going to imagine forevermore, though, since we did this? Imagine the tree, the way the tree walks, but then the Silver Shamrock song.
That would have been an improvement.
I feel like I will die on this hill. I feel like everyone who thinks that this was so bad, it was uncomfortable to watch, missed the whole point of the genre. Because this is supposed to be like this, and it's so good.
I just watched a lot of bad horror films, especially for my book, and I agree with you, Courtney. This fulfills the really bad horror that it's so. I have had more fun time telling people about this movie than I did watching.
But like that's the point.
I'm yelling to my child upstairs. You got to come down here and see what's going on.
Yes.
This is so bad. So you have a point. This does fulfill that really bad horror. Horror can get away with it. Horror can get away with this, with doing this, and people still come back. Where comedy and drama really can't. So
right, but shouldn't being like the worst film ever? Still, like, couldn't the comedy have been funnier? Wouldn't that make it better? Or that you want the comedy to be bad and you want the horror to be bad? I'm so confused.
So Jason, have you seen Velocipaster?
I've seen Velocipaster.
Okay, so I compare this to Velocipaster, the level of funnier. Velocipaster was funnier, but
much funnier.
But that same kind of thing. For example, in Velocipaster, like the opening scene, the dude is wearing a literal Walmart priest costume. It ties in the back, and it has this little like white part is not. It's like a part of the fabric, and it ties in the back. And he's standing on the church steps, and he's waving to his parents across the street. Then it cuts them waving, and then it cuts back to him, and you hear the sounds of a car crash, and he's like, and then it cuts back to where the parents were, and literally there's just a street on the screen, and in parentheses in lettering on the front it says insert car effects here, like car crash effects here. It is so, and then it gets worse. Right, that had more comedy, but like this, it got worse from there. Like to the culmination of the end scene where you see the Velocipaster in the $2 paper mache costume that they made him in the same backyard that they have used to be like where the killings happen and Vietnam flashbacks for no reason and like other things. It's all in the same backyard, and now there's ninjas. And it's like, what is happening? And I got the same like, what is going on here that I get from that? And it's the stupidest movie I've ever seen in my whole life, Velocipaster is, but I will make everyone I know watch it, and I will now make everyone I know watch The Killing Tree at Christmas because it's so stupid. And I think it's so funny.
Let's see. I haven't seen Velocipaster, but I would know what I was going to expect. Something called Velocipaster, and insert crash scene here. You're going for that, but this one, I wanted it to be funnier or scarier. just
I
thought
don't
it
think.
was-
I thought tonally it was bad, like because I thought that they were taking the premise seriously in places, and then when he tries to basically make love to the other Christmas tree, it's pretty hard to take it seriously. So it's a film that is really all over the place, and you really have to kind of embrace one side or the other, and it never fully embraced either side.
Right.
I agree with that. I think it was, I wasn't sure if it was trying to be ironic or funny, or if it was just, he was saying this is going to be ridiculous, let's have fun with it, or if he was trying to be serious and just couldn't cut mustard on that one. So I agree with you. It was that, but but I think Courtney has a point, and the point is that the point that I think is that this is a film we're going to remember, and I would rather make a film that is bad that people remember than a film people forget. And because it's just who cares? It's uneventful, it's uninteresting, it's fine. So people forget it, so he wins on that realm. I mean, we're going to all remember the plastic Christmas tree who killed people, how silly this movie is. So he wins in that respect, that this is, like it's better to be remembered than forgotten. The director in this movie will be remembered for sure. but I have to say is that there is a genre. Courtney is right, and there's a ton of witch films in that genre from the 90s. There's a ton of them in the 90s. The 70s horror, bad horror is super fun to watch. I loved watching that. But the ones, there's a ton of it in the 80s in the 90s and early 2000s that are as bad as this or worse, or just in this kind of there was only a couple times where I turned the TV off, where I said, nope, not watching this, and it's just not happening. I'm good. And I remember there was 2 films, and where it was made by the same production company, the 2 witch films, and they opened with the same exact front door. Like, both films had the exact same set, and they were totally different. I was like, oh gosh, not again. Here we go. This is how bad and low budget they were. They just said, we'll just use that set again for our next movie. And it was so obvious. So, there's a ton of them out there. People love them. Clearly, Courtney's one of them. Big fan.
Yeah.
I'll give you a list.
I cannot wait. I will watch all of them.
I wanted to watch Your Highness again versus this, and that is saying a lot. That's saying a lot.
I am so appreciative that you chose this movie for us, that I will be sure when it's my turn next time to choose Sword in the Stone for you, because I know that that's your favorite.
Yeah.
There
we go.
I thought we were friends.
We are. Don't turn your light off.
Yes, look at that. I get the graphic.
No! Pop that bubble.
Yeah. So I can express my discontent in so many ways now.
Why doesn't mine work?
Mine doesn't work at all.
I just got a new computer. I think that's probably it.
Oh, maybe that's it.
But I do love all of you so much. I love you, all of you. Is that gonna work? Come on, do that thing.
It's not working for me.
Not working for me.
Could you imagine if this film were a retelling of The Giving Tree, though? Could you imagine that? So the little boy, he comes to the tree and he climbs in her branches, and the tree is happy, and then the little boy wants to build a house, and the tree gives him her branches, and the tree is happy, and then the tree says, then the boy comes back and says, "Now I'm going to burn you down for firewood," and the tree says, "Oh yeah? Merry Christmas, you filthy animal," and then kills him and his entire family, and then the entire village, and then the entire world. I think that would.
Well, and I'm going to capitalize on that here. Is what if you had the whole giving tree to the end, and so the boy at the end of the giving tree is sitting on the stump. He says, "I have nothing more to give you," and he sits there, and it ends, and everybody cries because it's such a lovely story by Shel Silverstein. But little did we know when this was happening, the giving tree in the process had dropped a couple of its acorns, and a couple of its children were growing up watching how this little boy just suck dry their father. So they grow up and they unroot, and then they go and murder the boy and his family.
I will watch that. I would watch that. I will finance that. Like, give me that movie.
Maybe we need
I think you're onto something, Richard-Lael.
It's hard to see the
telling
Shel
true story.
Silverstein estate granting those rights. You know, it would be tough.
It would be tough.
My next
it's such a
tattoo,
beautiful-
my next tattoo, I swear to you, is going to be the Christmas tree with all the lights falling off it with the boots sticking out the bottom, laying down. Because I cannot. I was like, the boots, because it's very clearly a person shuffling along inside some kind of Christmas tree contraption. So when he's shuffling along, then all of a sudden there's his boots. When before that, with the terrible CGI, he's walking with chicken legs. Now he's got boots on. Listen, I can't. I'm so
made for killing.
I
That's just what they'll do.
Did your son watch it with you, Courtney?
no, but I'm planning to show him it because it's so good. And
I
for
just
whoever, someone was asking in the comments where you can watch it. It's streaming on Tubi. It's free with ads. Worth it to sit through the ads because it was so good. It was so stupid. It was hilarious, and it was
I
only
paid
an hour and 12 minutes.
$1.99 for it on YouTube, and I want my money back.
It's on Prime too. If you have Prime, it's on Prime.
Yes, I felt like Prime should have paid me $5 for watching the film.
I'm offended.
Yeah.
Go on. Any,
My reaction was,
You know what also might have made this better if it had been like a stop motion animation film
That would
with
have been
songs, right? You know,
Had
the
Broadway?
giving tree from you from me, you will flee. You know, something like that. You know, like songs and stuff. I can't
There was-
parody
Broadway-
the other songs because then we would have to pay for them. So you know,
There was one point with the when it was doing when the Silent Night, the 47-year Silent Night scene, where I screamed out loud because I thought the tree was playing the piano,
yeah.
like leading up to like that where he was gonna because it was standing at something and I was like, and then it was like cutting back to the girl underneath the bed like this, and then the tree is just like, but it's only, you can't see the whole tree, you can only see like this much of the tree, and then like whatever is standing in front of it, it was like menace because I can see the tree's face even though it didn't have one. It was like,
I thought
and
it
then
was
like
playing piano.
I thought he was it because I screamed out loud. I was like, please tell me that he has started playing Silent Night. But then it kept playing as he was moving around the house, so I don't know. But I thought I was gonna pass out from laughing so hard because it was so good.
you all might be able to answer this for me. So at the end of it, like 4 girls are walking out of the house, like nothing has happened, right?
Yeah.
They're not
Nothing did.
lamenting any
Nothing did.
deaths. Everything seems okay. Everybody else who was there, I guess, got a ride home. Was the whole thing like in her head, or did it all really happen?
So, I think it was they referenced something like remember what happened at the funeral or something like that.
Mhm.
So I feel like she had some kind of a mental break. They were like they said to her, "Oh, you were missing for hours. We were looking for you for hours."
Yeah.
So yeah, I think she might just, which makes it so much better. And she was running around in the woods, hallucinating a killer Christmas tree wearing boots underneath this costume. And then the lightsaber duel. She hallucinated that. She's like, oh, I miss my parents so much. I'm going to imagine that they are a glowing Christmas tree.
I was disappointed it ended like that. I really wanted it to be like real. Like I just and I'm fine with it's all a dream. That never bothers me if it works. In this one, I was really disappointed. I was like, no, I wanted it to really be real. And the question I have is that did anyone else think that the glowing Christmas tree that was on the ground was tall and skinny with a lightsaber up the center, and then when it went flying through the air to do a flying drop kick on the other tree, it was like short and stubby, like it was like just a nice little isosceles triangle or something with a that was glowing bright. Like it changed sizes and shapes, didn't it? Was that me?
Listen, these Christmas trees that are alive break the laws of physics because the other one was growing and shrinking as it pleased also. So I think that was it.
So funny.
Yeah.
All different, all not matching, all confusing, and then but it was real because the big, ridiculously glowing eyes of the big last moment. For the sequel, I guess.
I need a sequel. I will pay money to see it in the theater. I will buy it. I don't care what I'll stand outside with flyers. I don't care. I'm literally salivating right now for a sequel. It's so exciting. I love it so much. Also, I would just like to point out, Colin Barrett said the whole movie was a mental breakdown. Yes. And it was so delightful to watch. I also think I didn't like the ending because I was rooting so hard for the tree that I wanted the tree to win and I wanted everybody to be dead and I wanted them to all die just these weird, horrific, same blood splash deaths.
I wanted them all to die because the acting was bad.
Mm-hmm.
The only person who had any amount of skill was the woman at the beginning who brought the tree back. I actually kind of believed her in that moment. Mm-hmm. Everyone else was awful. I couldn't. Yeah. Nobody else could hold a candle to her. I mean, she was good. The rest of them were. Oh, love, do you love them more than me? No, don't go out there.
Yeah, and the tree had about 4 lines that were recycled the whole time, which classic. I'm gonna kill you and I'm gonna like it. Oh no, the map! The map!
I lost my map.
And then it's like this, and then the next scene he's like, "Where's the map?" So good. It's
I didn't understand what, of course, as it's starting with the witchcraft scene and with that actress, I'm like, okay, let's see. I know this is low budget. Let's see how it's going. And then she draws a Star of David to conjure. And I'm like, what? And I brought this up in another film in a more serious situation, but, why the Star of David? Because in most readers will see that as a Jewish Star of David and not a magical symbol that unless you're practicing ceremonial magic or Wicca, you recognize what that is in magic. But of course, there we go. We have a Star of David again. So you add that in and I was like, that of course, immediately I'm like, okay, rolling my eyes. Here we go. Now what? And I'm taking notes. Okay. But then, and then the notes stopped at that point. She's dragging out. And then I'm like, and I don't know what mistake she made. Then I couldn't get my mind off of that. What mistake did she make that she conjured her ex-husband or her husband or boyfriend into a plastic? Why did she put the plastic Christmas tree in the center of her magical circle in the first place?
Because it was a similar size and mass.
There were so many questions throughout. And then the red hair girl in the store, why was she talking and what was she saying? She was so quiet. I couldn't understand a word she was saying. I was screaming, speak louder. And she's like, so many questions.
So many questions. Yeah.
So many questions.
The sound mix was bad throughout the entire film, other than the sound of the killer Christmas tree. I will admit the actor who did the Christmas tree, I did kind of like his voice. And I did like his sort of creepy uncle you don't want to be alone with intensity.
Precisely. Yeah. Precisely. And I really think that, I think someone said it earlier. This was really, it's not only just bad horror, but bad horror is often filmed similar to the way a pornography is filmed with the low plot and the focus on the specific acts, and in this case it's in horror, the violence. So really the all of this conversations, I don't know who said it earlier, but all the conversations and interplay were really pointless. The only thing the whole point of this film was that Christmas tree walking around with the boots. That is all, and the murders and the snapping the people in half and blood spatter. I mean, I'm like, oh my goodness, I turned away. I was like, oh, he just snapped another one in half like a cat.
Well, maybe it should have been a porno.
I would have watched that also. My money.
I think I would have enjoyed it better.
Free,
I don't think I would want to call that part of myself the killing tree. I just don't. Good idea.
It could have gone so many places. Do we happen to have quotes on this yet? Are we up to quote time?
got-
Oh, I had some. I'm happy to reread them. With all the branches, the close up on the branches, him going, "What the duck," which was amazing. Looking in the mirror at himself as the Christmas tree, so great. Also, okay, so they're all Christmas tree quotes because he was the best one. But when he said, "I can't believe I'm already lost. I can't believe I'm so crap at this," and then the growling while he was looking at the map. And then when the car came, he said, "Ah, a car. Okay, settle down, Clay. Play it cool." Because he's a tree in the middle of the street, a Christmas tree. So play it cool, Clay. Play it cool. You got it. Take a breath. Kill some travelers. It's totally fine. We got this.
I do, of course, have a movie minute.
Yes, we're up to that. I was even going to remember this week.
It can't be better than this film, though, right? It can't be funnier than this film.
It will has to be funnier than this film.
Finally, a film that answers the question, can a possessed Christmas tree drive a car? Welcome to the oddest Christmas season in the history of England, a time of year when everyone is mostly in coats, but two horny 20-somethings strip down the bathing suits for an extended makeout session by the pool. England is, of course, known for its great December weather. Meet the killing tree, a tree inhabited by the soul of a mass murderer whose only real crime was fighting against the commercialization of Christmas. This dude was apparently murdering people for not celebrating Christmas properly. I'm sure Jesus would have been down with that. Watch as the killing tree grows and shrinks depending on the circumstances. Seriously, is this tree 2 stories tall, 5 feet tall? And dude, I can see your hands in the costume. It's like no one's even trying here. Experience a film full of people talking because no one wants to pay for the special effects needed to elevate this film from a 1 to a 2. Watch as characters are torn in half and then 2 minutes later seen running for their lives. Tremble in fear as the killing tree wonders if another Christmas tree is his wife, and then throws that tree to the ground when he realizes his tree humping will not be reciprocated. And just when you think the film can't possibly get any worse, the killing tree faces off with an angel tree in a battle between good and evil Christmas trees. This was so out of left field, I almost liked it for half a second. Ever see a Transformers movie and wonder if things can get any worse? The killing tree proves it can. But as the light of Christmas Day shines down upon some of the main characters, and their night of pine-filled terror officially ends, they vow to start anew, never mentioning their dead friends who were alive just a few hours ago. Even more surprisingly, the cast and crew used their real names in the end credits. The killing tree won't make you scared of Christmas trees, but it might make you scared to ever watch another film ever again.
Yay!
Beautiful. That is brilliant. That is absolutely
Transformers
brilliant.
is better. Yes, Transformers is better.
My Christmas ornaments are falling off. Oh God!
Careful, they're coming alive, Patty. Look out!
They are. Ooh, and my little angel and devil from Richard-Lael. Help! Okay. Well, we are almost to that time. Does anybody have anything coming up they want to talk about? Anything they've done this week? I know we've all been starting our holiday decorations and different things. My neighborhood's getting very, very festive. I personally started out the holiday season with going to a Stevie Nicks concert, which there could be nothing better. This girl rocks it. It was a small venue, this forum of 17,000, which is small because it's next to SoFi, which is 77,000. Literally, they're next door to each other. But 17,000 people she had in the palm of her hand. It was a religious experience for me. She is my goddess, Stevie Nicks. So I think she's going to do this forever. So I highly recommend her if anybody wants to go. I was really lucky because I had like front and center seats, but my friends in the back loved it just as much.
Should we vote?
Yeah, I had to mute myself. So yes,
That makes me want to go see Stevie Nicks. I don't even like concerts because they're two people.
You have to yes, she's timeless. I mean, the ages people there were from children to like, older than her. It was amazing. So, all right, we have the quotes, we have the everything, we have the synopsis. Now we vote. Everybody, wands up, wands down for the Killing Tree.
So I got a roll of Christmas wrapping paper as my wand because I wanted to go down as far as I possibly could.
Mine is up way too high for you to see.
Okay, I am down. Heather is
Down.
down, very down. Jason is down deep. Richard-Lael, is that an up or a down?
Is that up?
It's an up.
Oh, God.
I tell you why it's up. The only reason it's up is because I love Courtney Buckley. And I thought everyone was going to vote it down. And I didn't want the film to be voted all the way down.
So
I love you so much.
and Courtney's is up so high we can't even see it. So there we go. So
So
we have
high.
down, up for sympathy's sake, up.
Awesome.
One's up for how bad it was. Tell me how bad. One's up. I must say the audience, we're mixed. Same thing. One's down, one's up, one's everything. So on that, go see Stevie Nicks. So what are we
One's
gonna,
up for Stevie Nicks.
what are we gonna-
One's down for the Killing Tree.
Yes.
One's up for
Don't, Stevie killing. Stevie killing.
I do have to say though, you know what? If someone said to me in the right mood, they said, "Hey, do you want to watch the Muppet Wizard of Oz, or you want to watch The Killing Tree again?" I might actually watch The Killing Tree again.
Okay, here's the real litmus test.
I might.
The witch who came from the sea, or the Killing Tree.
I mean, I will say that I was completely sober when I watched The Killing Tree, and had that not been the case, maybe this would have been a much better movie. It was like it needed edibles or something.
Yes,
right?
I did not take edibles before I watched it, and I thought it was great, and probably would be better if you took edibles, but still great.
See, I wanted to say that. I might have liked it had I done the edibles, but since last week with the Spirited Away, I talked about I should have been high. I didn't want to do it 2 weeks in a row because you guys would think I was the total stoner.
Can we just?
This is a bad movie. This is
see
what
what Colin said up there. I suppose if you were so stoned that you could not change the channel, it might be.
Colin's killing it. Wanda's angry at the poor portrayal of wood in this movie.
All right. I don't know if anybody has anything coming up. I'm going to be in Texas this weekend. There's still a couple seats if anybody wants to go haunted the Old Park Hotel in Ballinger, Texas overnight. Stay at a really haunted old Western place overnight, or just do the 12 noon to midnight. Check out with Paraflix, my partner Natalie and I'm excited because I've been there and it's haunted. It's going to be freezing though. Dress warm because old, haunted places never have heat. They don't have heat. So hi Cindy. So anyway, that's where I'm going to be. Other than that, I'm going to be home for the holidays. Anybody else have anything coming up or anything they want to wish for anybody for?
Did we decide next week is going to be
It's a Wonderful Life?
It's a Wonderful Life.
Wonderful Life.
I just wanted to get that out there before so that everyone could go watch.
Merry Christmas, Bedford Falls. I'm just practicing.
I want to note that if anybody is interested in Mystic South next July, going good 6-7 months ahead, we just did open up ticket sales, and we're looking for programming, and we have that open, and we just announced our special guests who are going to be there. So it's really kicking into gear. I am on the board, so I'm part of that. And I will be there doing my doll workshop this year. It got postponed. So I will be doing that. But we just did open ticket sales. And if you want to do a workshop, if you like to teach anything mystical, magical, spiritual, please come. They don't close till the end of February, but please come on and join us in Atlanta. Come on down. See us, y'all.
Thank you. Good. Awesome. Anybody else?
I would like to put out a request if anyone knows the contact information for the producers of The Killing Tree. I would like to spend some of my time requesting very fervently a sequel because it's no longer October and things have died down and I have some time on my hands. Turn your light back on, Jason, before I curse
No.
our Christmas tree.
No, you do not get light when you ask for a sequel to The Killing Tree.
I'm going to hex you
do
so
not.
bad. Oh, it's coming.
Oh.
All right. So are we going to cackle or are we going to growl?
Oh, that's so exciting. Let's go.
We're going to growl. Okay. We're going to do our best Killing Tree. 1, 2, 3.